Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Empowerment Liberation Cathedral's Word Wednesday. We are going to have a great time on tonight. Uh, as many of you know, we are in our Women's History Month, and we are excited to bring to you some phenomenal women this month. So I want you to take a few moments to hit like, want you to take a few moments to hit share, and we want you to create a watch party. And so if you can do that for us, we would definitely appreciate it. Once again, we want to welcome everybody. We want to give you a few moments to get on because we don't want you to miss who we have on tonight. And so we want you again to hit share. We want you to make sure you hit like, but we want you to create a watch party so that everybody connected to you will hear our guest on tonight. We are excited to bring this phenomenal woman to you. But I need everybody to get on so that you can hear from her on tonight. Once again, welcome to Empowerment Liberation Cathedral's Word Wednesday. And we are featuring different women who are making history in our city, in our state, in our country, and even in the world. And so we want you to make sure that you tune in every Wednesday so that you can see these phenomenal women. So tonight, we do have a very special, phenomenal woman that we're going to bring to the screen. And make sure, as I said, that you get everybody that you know on. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you hit like. I tell you, we don't want anybody to miss our guest on tonight. And so, if you have family members that are not on Facebook, tell them, hey, hop on YouTube. They're on YouTube as well. All right. And so at this time, I want to bring our guest to the screen. Tonight, we have Lois Cook from the DC Divas football team. I feel like I need to scream that. And we have Deacon Sylvester Stokes and we have Deacon Kim Hall who are with us on tonight. And so we're going to ask Lois some questions, let y'all hear from her, hear her heart, hear her passion, hear her drive, hear what makes her catch those balls and run all those yards to get a touchdown when she's on the field. Okay. And I'm excited to have my DC Divas jersey on. I think y'all can kind of see this that they presented to me last year. I was so excited. I was like, feel like I could do anything. And so I've had the wonderful privilege of serving as a DC Divas chaplain. And before I bring Lois onto the screen, I do want to say, Lois was so wonderful to me when I first came to the DC Divas team to serve as a chaplain. She was very nice, always very kind, always pleasant, and she seemed to always have a smile on her face. I'm like, okay, she has a smile all the time. And it was all the time. Every time I saw her, even when she was pregnant, she still had a smile on her face. Honey, I've had 3 kids, and you don't always have a smile on your face. But she did. She always had a smile on her face. And I said, wow, she is a jewel. And she has proven to be just that. She's always doing outreach. She's always helping people. And so now we want to hear from Lois Cook. Lois, just give us a quick introduction, then we will ask some questions of you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on, Bishop. I'm really excited to be here with you guys tonight. So I'm Lois. I am a wide receiver with the DC Divas. I'm number 18. I'm a mom of 4 boys. And I've been playing on and off since 2002.
Great. So I want to start out by asking you, what was your dream as a child? We often have dreams, and sometimes our parents would tell us, that's not going to happen. So just find you another one, or they try to steer you in a different direction. So what was your dream as a young person?
My dream was to play football. I wanted to be a professional football player. Anytime anyone asked me, what did I want to be when I grew up? I said, I wanted to be in the NFL. And fortunately for me, at that time, I didn't recognize the NFL as a men's league or anything like that. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. But when I was able to join the women's league, it was like my dream came true, because for me, this is the NFL for women. So it's such an empowering feeling of accomplishment that I'm able to play today, because that's all I wanted to. I was obsessed with football growing up. So so that, that was, I carried the football everywhere I went. That was my dream.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I tell you, to be a young person and desire to play in NFL, you usually hear that from the young males. And so there are women today who desire to play football. When I was in Michigan, I served as an elected official on the Oak Park School Board, and there was a young lady who wanted to play football in our district. And I was thinking, okay, now how are they going to handle this? And they actually did put her on the football team at the high school. And, I was very happy to see that, because I know for years girls had wanted to play football. That was one of the things I wanted to play as a kid. I always played with the kids out in the street, and anywhere else I could find to play with the boys to play football. But they would not allow me to be on the football team as a child. And so all you had was the football team on the street, the football team on the field, but you couldn't officially be on the team. And so that's wonderful to see dreams now coming true. And so now, um, I guess, what really was it about football that made you interested? What made you so interested in this game of tackle, this game of pile up, this game of broken limbs? Okay, what made you so interested in this game?
You know what? So when I started playing, I was very young. My brother is 11 months older than I am, so I followed him everywhere. And we played with the neighborhood boys. And when I got on the field, it's like a sense of freedom. Like you're able to go all out, do anything you wanted to do. You not get in trouble for it. And maybe the boys went easy on me. I'll never know to this day, but they were accepting and they were very impressed that I was able to keep up and I was able to handle my own. My brother was a quarterback, so he'd throw me the ball, I'd catch it, I'd make a touchdown. And then on defense, I'd turn around, I'd jump on people, pull people and push and all kinds, it was just a huge adrenaline rush. And so that feeling of accomplishment and that feeling of freedom has like really, propelled me into the game. And so moving forward, as I grew up, I just kept my interest in it. And today, what kept me, or actually when I got out of college, that's when I really started playing with the women. But what kept me interested was the challenge of it. It's a huge challenge, both mentally and physically. It's the biggest sport, the most challenging sport that you'll ever find. And it's not so much as a competition with the other players, but you're actually in competition with yourself, because each and every single play, you got to be the best that you can. You got to always get better and better and better. So that's so today it's the challenge of it. I love the challenge. I love the competition behind it and the huge adrenaline rush that comes with it.
Absolutely. And I don't know how to explain that, but just being able to stand on the field with all of these women who had all of this energy and this rush that would come and they'd walk off the field, I felt a whole lot of energy, and I just felt like I could do anything just being a part of the crowd, even though y'all never let me on the field. But I just
it's not too late. It's not too late, Bishop.
Look, I crossed the 50 line, Lois. I crossed the 50 line. So I was thinking about being the kicker. I said, I need to call Richard C. Can I be the kicker? But it's wonderful, that energy, that adrenaline rush. And I appreciate you said you're in competition with yourself, because how can you push yourself to do more? And how can you work on those places where you've fallen short and where you may need to push and gain some endurance and maybe hone in on your skill. And so I like that. Let me check in with the deacons to see if they want to ask anything. Deacon Kim, Deacon Sylvester.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Lois. Well, first let me say that I did a season with the Divas in 2008. And And I know for a fact that it is a huge time commitment. I mean, practice after work, games on the weekends. How do you do that and still have 4 boys and a husband?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to you because you played, you paved the way and you made it possible for us to have this game today. So thank you for that. And I don't know. The answer to your question is I don't know. I do have a lot of support at home, and my boys are so young that this is all they know. So, my oldest, he's 14. But the other 3 are all under 5. And so the oldest, when he was born, I was playing football. So for each and every one of them, they were born into the sport. So it wasn't like, I had kids, I have a family, and then I decided to go into football after that, where it's a culture shock or like a huge shock to our normal routine. So really, it's just, kind of making it work where however we can. I have, again, a lot of support. My grandparents are in the area, so they were very, very helpful. They actually raised me, so they're very helpful with the boys. And, when my husband's in the Army, so sometimes he does travel. So when he's away, they can, kind of step in and help out. And the Divas are a family, this, I'm sure, but the Divas are such a family that I can bring my kids to practice, I won't do it on a cold day or, weather permitting, but I can bring them to practice and still feel comfortable and, that they're safe and they're around people that will look out for them if need be. So it's a lot of juggling, but, we practice in the evenings, so that's helpful. So it's like after dinner and, after school hours. So I'm not taking away too much time. But yeah, we get by.
That is awesome. And yes, the DC Divas family embrace all children. I've seen numerous children at practices, sitting on the fields, talking with each other, talking to players. And so, yes, it truly is a family. I wanted to know, Lois, what are some of the hurdles you personally had to overcome? I heard about the family, but you personally as a player, what are some of the hurdles that you had to overcome? Not talking about when me and you had the conversation about a year and a half ago about Lois, you expecting, how you gonna play, and not talking about that, because I remember that conversation very well. But even before that, what were some of your hurdles that you had to overcome?
Well, I'm kind of thinking of a couple of different things. And first I'll talk about injury because I was injured in 2009 and broke my leg. And it was really a hurdle. It was such an obstacle because here you are, you're in the zone, you're, engaged in this sport and you're daily, you're walking this walk, and then all of a sudden it's taken away. So that's a huge hurdle because you have to figure out how to navigate life after that. And are you able to get back? And it's for me, it's like, I'm so determined to be on the field that I'm not really being, taking my time to heal because I'm so rushed and I want to get back out there. So that's of course a hurdle. But other than that, I would say it's really like it's not a social norm for women to play football. It is not socially accepted. And that is a very, very hard piece to it. I can scream up and down to, let the words, roll off your back. Don't listen to the words when people talk negatively or people just don't support, that kind of hurts. But, and that's something that, I think it comes with time. And when you're so passionate about something, like I am with football, you find a way to get through it. And, but it doesn't make it easy. Right. Yeah. So that's really hard because it's an emotional and a mental piece to that. Physically, I got injured and I was able to recover and come right back. But when you're talking about mentally, it's a little bit more of a struggle. So if you don't have that support system in place, if I didn't have, family to watch my kids or, the support that I have at home, that would make it so much harder. And a lot of the women that play are dealing with stuff like that. We don't have, as women who play have to pay to play. We have fees that we have to pay every year. And depending on sponsorships and donations, I would say like almost everybody is coming out of pocket in order to play the sport. So we literally play for the love of the game. And so when you don't have, I know the first few years of me playing way back when, I didn't have that much support. Like I'd come to a game and I would tell people and I'd hope that they'd come out to see me play. Mm-hmm. And, I'd be watching the stands trying to see, okay, well, is anybody showing up today? And, sometimes they wouldn't. And that kind of hurts. But it doesn't, again, it's that determination and that passion that you have that kind of gets you through all of that. But I think those are important hurdles that a lot of us as women players, as women athletes overall, even beyond football, I think a lot of us face that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And Empowerment Liberation Cathedral has been a church that has supported the DC Divas football team in the past. We would go as a group and, just have a good time, but we knew the importance of supporting other women. And so, I think that's key today. And I'm so glad that you talked about sometimes if people don't show up, you look out for them and they're not there. And, I'm sure a lot of women athletes can relate to that feeling. And so way back when I played on the basketball team, and I don't remember anybody ever coming to support me when I played basketball. But I guess they was like, okay, we'll wait till she gets, maybe to be one of the people whose name they always call, and then maybe we'll come out to the game. So, but it's always interesting to see, if people are going to support you and support you because they love you and not about your skill. It's just because this is what you're doing and they want to support you. And so I appreciate that. I want to check. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just jump in with that point right there is because when you do have that genuine, that authentic support, like that's true from the heart support, that is what kind of erases all the rest of it. You know what I mean? Like when you have people that support you genuinely because they know you're passionate and they're happy to see you passionate about it, and they support you because they want to see you succeed and they want to see you do well. When you focus on that, all the rest of it is out the window. So that's a really important part. And and this is when I was speaking on that was years ago. And I want to say that, it's today, football today is definitely much, it has grown a lot.
It's evolved.
Definitely.
Yes.
Support is
truly had. Look, you can't get a seat out there at the DC Divas game now. You gotta get your ticket early. So it has truly evolved. Yes, I do remember some from Prince George's, what is it? The field up there where we used to come. The sports complex. And so it has definitely evolved. I want to check in with Deacon Sylvester and see if he wants to ask a question at this time.
First, again, welcome again. And I am just so appreciative of that spirit that you have. It's coming through the screen so loud, the passion, the determination. And you talked a lot. And so I don't necessarily have a question, but I just want to just compliment you on that determination. And you talked a lot about the challenges. You talked about freedom. You talked about acceptance. I see a lot of parallel to life. And it looks like you've gotten it. Deacon Kim asked you the question, how did you make all of this happen? And so it's clear to me, because of the love that you had for the game early on, is that you made it happen. And so I congratulate you. I congratulate the team.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I don't know, when you're passionate, football is one sport that definitely teaches you life lessons, whether you take it directly or indirectly, from being in football. And I always say this, that being an athlete is a lifestyle. It's not just an event. It's not something that you do just for the sake of one season. You live by that every day, whether it's by the way that you eat or by the way that you sleep or by the way that you make your choices. I'm not going to stay up all night watching Netflix when I have to go to a game tomorrow, or I'm not going to go out partying when I have to, when I have those responsibilities to my team. And the team aspect is that much more important too, because now you have sisters in football who are depending on you. And so you have to show up for them just like they have to show up for you. And that's probably one of the best things too about football is that, or one of the best things that I take away from football is the family that you create behind it. It's a whole sisterhood that, you know, you go to battle with these women, blood, sweat, and tears, and you're fighting for each other. And when you step on that field, you're not playing for yourself, you're playing for her. And to have that, you know, it just creates this connection that you really can't get, you know, much elsewhere. So thank you for that. Thank you for those comments.
I love that. I love that. Before I move on with my questions, there are two questions I'm looking at that are on the Facebook Live. How expensive is it to play football today? How expensive is it?
Well, let's see. So we do, it's quite expensive. But okay, so I'll just start like this. So you've got equipment that you have to get, helmets and shoulder pads, all of that stuff. You know, it adds up. I'm going to do a little show and tell. I've got a helmet right here.
Cool.
So
we love it.
Helmets can go anywhere from like $100 to $300 to $500 to $600. So but it's an investment, you know. And then shoulder pads for sure. And the team fees can be anywhere from like $300 to $1,000. It just depends on the team. So I don't want to give, you know, specific numbers, but so donations and sponsorships are so important because of this investment. But it kind of, when you think about it, if you go to a gym and you have a gym membership and you add that all up, you know, you're kind of, I didn't do the math and that's not my favorite subject, but you kind of balance it out because you're getting this basically your gym membership through the team. You have these intense workouts, you know, you have nutritionists come in and talk to you. You have coaches that give you moral support and life support, you know, things like that. And of course your teammates. So it's priceless. I mean, honestly, you know, what you put into it, you get back so much more. But talking numbers, it definitely does cost, but it's well worth it, to be quite honest. Hopefully it won't cost all the time. We're hoping to definitely get it in a better place, but thank you for the question.
And you know, I want to say that Empowerment Justice Center was glad to about a year and a half ago to I guess be a supporter to the DC Divas and Empowerment Liberation Cathedral. So we did have an ad that was in the book. They were given out at the game, and so we were happy to be a supporter of the DC Divas team. Another question is, how does it feel to play such an aggressive sport as a woman? And so can you answer that part? You know, all the tackle and pile up.
I am woman, hear me roar. It feels great. I mean, like for me, and football's not for everybody. And I say this till I'm black and blue in the face. It's not for everybody. And when I'm very big on empowering the younger generation that if they want to play. So whether or not you decide that football is for you, at least you have a choice to try it out and play. But it is an aggressive sport, but it's a huge adrenaline rush. So, you know, it's fun. It's just, I don't know. It's just, again, going back to what I said earlier about that competition and that challenge. And then it's 90% mental and 10% physical. So you got to be strategic in your thoughts. You have to be very focused, very aware of everything. So I'm like, you know, I love stuff like that. So I'm like, you know, this is all me. I love it. It's fun for me. It's aggressive, but it also tells me that I don't have limits. Maybe I do have limits, but it's not on the football field. You know what I mean? So physically, I can push myself. I can go beyond what is expected of me, or I can go beyond what people think of me. And that's a great feeling within itself.
Wow, that is awesome. I want to ask, have women football players found any respect from men or even the male football players? Talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I want to say that it's not directly seen, but I think that as an athlete, I see this for me in my, you know, just like on social media and stuff like that. When I encounter a male athlete, they are typically, if it's a true athlete, he's typically respectful and appreciative of what I do. He's interested and wants to see more, and it's like, oh, this is cool that you play. This is awesome. I want to look, I'd like to catch a game. But it's usually the ones who are not athletic or not in the game or doing other things that are very shocked by it and don't give the respect. And so with that, I've encountered a lot of bullying, a lot of harassment, a lot of, negative comments, really on social media. But it's part of the journey to get from where we are as women athletes to get to where we want to be. We have to break through all of that. And, I do comment, I do, respond back, not all the time, but I do respond back to educate people, because I want them to know that, this is, we're playing football. We're putting our all into this. And it's really not what they make it out to be. They're, and people like to make it into a competition with the women versus the NFL. And it's never about that. We're not in competition. We complement the NFL. We're not in competition with them. We play in the spring, they play in the fall, by a woman. I want to be very clear when I say this, by a woman playing football, it does not take away from a man playing football. A woman playing football is not a threat to any man playing football. We love the game that they love. And they should take that as a compliment that girls want to play with the boys. We love it so much. We want to play too. There's plenty of football to go around for everyone. So I get both sides. And I think that from the male, so like as you asked, from male players, I think that it depends on their walk of life. It depends on where they are, are they comfortable with themselves, in their team and stuff like that. So you get both sides of it. And unfortunately, people see the negative side quite often. And that's a deterrent for the younger generation, which is why we really have to break that down and try to get over that.
Well, I want to ask about one of the former DC Diva players. We know that DC Diva players go on to do great things. We've seen them opening many doors and walking through, I would say pushing many doors open and being able to walk through those doors. And so, when you think about it, I think about it when y'all come through the tunnel and you come out on the field and you got this big rush. I think about that when I see some of the women and what they're doing with the NFL on today. And so we have Jennifer King, who is now working as, I think, an assistant coach with Washington football team. Would you tell us about her just for a moment?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I am so proud to see what she's doing. I am super, super proud to be able to say that I know her. She's my former teammate. She's my teammate. I'm not going to say former,
Yes.
She's definitely leading the way and showing young girls what they can do, what's possible. I'm sorry. So I'm like, I love it so much, because when a young girl is like, I'm going back to myself when I'm growing up, I didn't have that vision. I didn't have that woman that I could see in front of me and follow her footsteps or follow what she's doing or be inspired by what she's doing and find my way through what she did, find my way, on my own, however I could do it. So by her being there and being present and making these being the first, African-American female assistant coach full-time with the Washington football team.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
And young girls will see that and they'll say, yep, I can do that too. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's phenomenal.
I just wanted to comment that that's a testament to how the world sees the Women's Football League now, because I remember when it first started, you remember when there was lingerie football. Does anybody remember that? And I think
we all remember that. Wait, let me put us all on the screen so everybody can see Lois shaking her head. Go ahead, Deacon.
Okay, my point is that when you would say to someone, I play football, they instantly had a vision of lingerie football or a flag football or something like that. And it took time and to get the respect that, hey, wait, they're wearing pads, they're tackling, they're getting hurt, they're just, going all out. And because the league has endured through everything, the opportunities are coming for the women coaches to move up into the NFL, because they're getting the respect, because they see these women are out here coaching for real. This is not a game, or, quote, a game. They're out there throwing everything, leaving everything out on the field. So when you said the respect factor, it's come up a lot. But I remember back in the day, oh, you play football? That's how people would think when you say you play football,
Yeah, it's still, sometimes you still encounter that. I still get people who will ask me, oh, is it the lingerie league? Or, or do you mean soccer? Or do you mean flag? And get those questions. But I will say that it's great to have seen it from where it was before, like you said, where it's like, most of the people that you encounter, that's their impression. Whereas today, I'd say at more than half the people will already know about at least about the divas. Nowadays I can go out in the public and say, talk to somebody, meet someone and say, I play football and we're in the DC area. Oh, the DC Divas? I'm like, yeah, you've been to a game? And then, right? And now I even, and this makes me proud that as simple as it is, I'll run into people that say, oh, my aunt plays on the team, or I have a cousin that plays with the Divas, or I know such and such who plays with the Divas. Do you know such? Did you play with, and it's so, there's been so much growth. So I'm so proud of that. and like you said, Jennifer King, what she's doing, being able to show not only young girls, but us as players too, that we can coach. Like, when I was growing up, I knew I wanted to play football. Never in my mind thought about coaching, but that's that's a real possibility. And had I seen that before, I probably would have been, a little bit more determined, and I might have made some choices to maybe go to school for that, or maybe, take some classes, or, try to find my way into that world. So this is like, she's opening up the door and saying, hey, here we are, let's go. She's amazing.
And Lois, tell us about, because a lot of people don't know about the WFA. And so would you tell us a little bit about that? Because people may not know, hey, they got a team in Cleveland, they got a team in Philly, they got a team in Boston, they got all these other teams. And so tell us about that.
Yeah, so the WFA is the largest professional women's tackle football league in the US, and we have now just become international. So we're having teams, right? But yes, there are approximately 65 teams across the US. Every major city has a team. I am on my way to memorizing all the teams. I'm working on it. So now when people ask me, because I speak to a lot of the young girls on TikTok, and they always, I can't find a team near me. I'm like, well, where are you? I'll tell you what team it is. So yeah, it's great. And just, I say we, but the WFA is doing really great things. Just not even a week ago, announced that this year we have partnered with the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, which is huge, because this is this massive stadium that, we've never had. And it's like, when I got the news, I went and did push-ups. I went down to the weight room. I was like, no, we're going. We're going. So this is just amazing. Like, every year you look forward to the championship. Every year you're energized about the possibility of being a champion and making it that far. But something about that stadium, like, wow. I'll tell you real quick, in 2009, the Divas went to the championship, and that was actually the year that I broke my leg. And so we went to the championship, but I wasn't able to play. But when we got there, we were in Round Rock, Texas, and the field that we used, it had a Jumbotron. This was my first time with the Jumbotron. You guys are going to look at me like I'm crazy, like a Jumbotron, like what, Lois, what? But let me tell you, the feeling that that overcame me when I stepped onto that field, I had to take a minute. Like nobody was on the field yet. My teammates were in the locker room. I stepped out of there was like a little tunnel. It wasn't a big tunnel, but it was a little tunnel. Come out of the tunnel, and I just kind of looked over the field, and I was just emotional, because it's like, this is what we're playing for. We want this. We want to have the grand stage. We don't want to play at the dirt fields that, the rusty dusty, we want this, and to have come there and to be able to, even though I couldn't play, it was just that accomplishment and that feeling of being there. So when those women step foot on that field, that Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, they're going to play the best games of their lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. That's awesome. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. Deacon Sylvester, do you want to ask anything at this time? Any comments?
Lois, you talked about or alluded to supporting the community. And so, Bishop, I don't know if you have a question staged for that, but I wanted to know what specifically are your involvements in the community in terms of outreach, in terms of mentoring, in terms of support, in terms of lifting our young people up, whether it's a young female or a male for that matter, because I can see you actually mentoring a male.
Yeah, thank you for that question. As a matter of fact, I'm proud to say that I have I have a second one now. For a while, I only had one, but one of my biggest supporters is a young boy that is in middle school who plays football, and he follows me everywhere. And he's, one of my biggest supporters. But yeah, so I met him in school because we do a tour of schools every year. The DC Divas, we go out to middle school, elementary school, high school, you name it, anywhere, there's no area that we won't touch. And we talk to the students about women playing football. We do assemblies, and we do football, little mini clinics, and little things that we can engage them with, and just kind of share our story with them, and help them to, we like to focus on the studying part and make sure that they know that, like I said before, it's being an athlete is a lifestyle. So you've got to make the right choices if that's something that you want to do. Studying is a huge part of it. So, you can't play football unless your grades are on point. So being in schools is a huge one. But we also like to visit our senior citizens. And so we go around and like on Valentine's Day and during Christmas and holidays, we'll go and do little cards that we can go and walk in. There's actually one particular place. Some places we can't do like each and every person, but there's one place in Gaithersburg, Maryland, that we go and we Christmas carol, pretty much singing down the hallway. And we have cards that all of the players come in and they sign them. And we get to walk to every single door and say, hi, we love you, and happy Valentine's Day or Merry Christmas or whatever the case may be. So definitely visiting with them. I think that our senior citizens are often overlooked and, kind of left to the side sometimes. So we want to be there for them. We go to pet shelters and visit with the pets and pet the dogs and cats. There's a horse farm in Virginia, so doing stuff like that. We also do donation drives, and we like to make sure that we're able to give back and support those who are in need the most. I'm not doing it justice. We do a lot, and the team has the heart for it. And I'm just, I've had the pleasure of being the director of community relations for the team, and my job has been made easy. I have tons of ideas, but it's all of the players are just there to fulfill them, and it's, it's the best. So there's so much more that we do. So
yes,
yeah.
There is, and I can say I have personally witnessed them collecting items, preparing to take things out to the community. Also, one time Empowerment Justice Center was collecting items, and remember, Lois, we asked you, hey, come up and help us. I think that's when some of the persons came over from the caravan. And so they, the DC Divas brought in items to help Empowerment Justice Center to donate to those young persons that came over. And so, I mean, I've witnessed them signing cards too. They told me, oh, Bishop, sign your name on here. So we were passing cards around to everybody. And so, they do some great work, And so shout out to all the divas. But Lois, you do a great job as a community outreach director. And shout out to Rich Daniel, the owner. But Lois, tell us a little bit about DC Divas as we prepare to wind down. Tell us a little bit about the team, the organization, the DC Divas.
Well, first of all, we are a very historic team. We've been around since 2000. A very long-standing name. We're actively in preseason, so we're getting together safely, of course. But just overall an amazing team. I don't know if this, I hope this is a testament to how great the team is, but since I started in Atlanta as a football player, but then when I came home to DC, I was with the Divas in 2004. I have not gone anywhere else. I've been with the Divas ever since. I know I've had kids and stuff, so life has come in the way, but yeah, the Divas are just, and it's a family. And so we're actively in preseason. Our season starts in May. We travel, we support each other. We support our community. We are leaders and role models. We are a group of diverse women who all love and are passionate about football. But we're coming from all different areas. So, we all different walks of life. And that's what makes us so amazing.
I am so glad to hear you say that, because one of the things that I think sometimes people have incorrectly is to think that it's not a diverse team. And so, I want to ask this because I'm sure some people always think about it. When you look at the women who play football, it is not just one type of woman who plays football. You have women who are all from different backgrounds, but you also have women who have different sexual orientations, different sexual expressions, and you have just all kinds of women who come to the game and come to the field. And so I'm so glad you talked about the diversity that is there. And so lastly, if somebody wants to try out for the team, how can they do that?
Well, first of all, getting. We got to go. We got a championship to win. So you got to get there quick. We are, like I said, we're actively in preseason. So definitely reach out right now. Instagram, Facebook, or go to the DC Divas website. Rich Daniel is our team owner, as you said. He will guide you through that whole process. But we, come on. we're happy to.
I am excited.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Tryouts normally, I'll just say this. Tryouts normally happen in the fall and the winter. So we are long past that time, but we are always open by, case by case basis. So if anybody is interested, now's the time, because we're starting our season starts in May, and we have that championship to win in July. So
absolutely. And I believe the DC Divas are going to come back and win it. Mm-hmm. They have had a wonderful track record. How many championships have the Divas won?
We have 3. We have 3 championships: 2006, 2015, 2016. Thank you. And we are the DC area's most winningest team out of all the professional sports in the DC area. We have an overall record of about 142 to 39 losses. So
wow, that is major.
I might be off by 1 or 2, but
so we won't tell anybody.
That's close enough. That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah. That is awesome. So you heard that you can contact them on Instagram, on Facebook, but you have to do it now because they've already kind of put together the team. But if you are special, if there's something awesome or dynamic about you, they might be willing to allow you to be a walk-on at this time. And so you have to get out there now, as you just heard Lois say, and they're ready and on the way to their next championship. And we're going to be there to watch. We're going to be there to support, and we're going to be there cheering you on. Hopefully I will be out there on the field, to cheer the Divas on, because I tell you that there's nothing like the energy out there. Deacon Kim knows what I'm talking about. Nothing like the energy that's out there, Lois, on that field. And the Divas have some great people. Let me just say that. Monica Livingston, shout out to her as well. I don't want to start shouting people out because I'm gonna get in trouble. But shout out to her and to Ghost, who's always been so wonderful to me as well. And so, they just really wrapped their arms around me as a chaplain. And I was just so excited and honored to be there, and to just be a part of the DC Divas family. And so, where can they see you playing, Lois, this year? For those who want to get season tickets or those who want to just find out where you're going to be.
So we have not yet announced our home field, and I think that's in the works right now. So just expect that to come maybe any week now. But our season will be televised. This year we are with 11. The league is with 11 Sports and FTF. So DirecTV, AT&T, Verizon, Fios. Also Apple TV, Xbox, Roku, Fubo, all that stuff. So there will be games televised.
Woo!
Yes, and also Facebook, social media. Typically most teams stream their games, so you might be able to find the games online as well on Facebook. But yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much to Lois Cook for sharing with us on tonight. She is a phenomenal woman. She has pressed through lots of things to make the body be the awesome dynamic athlete that it is, or have the athletic mobility that it has. Let me say it that way. And also women's football has totally evolved. It has gone to another level. They are kicking down doors for our young people on today. So we're so excited to see where women's football is on today. So Lois, if you have any final words, we'll ask you to give that to us, and then we're going to thank everybody for signing on tonight.
I guess my final word would be to always follow your passion, no matter what it might be. Follow your passion. It's your passion for a reason. There's something if you have a positive burden over your life, sometimes we think about burdens as being negative, but if you have something positive that's just sitting on your shoulders that you have this itch to do, follow that and go do it. Because it might be your purpose. And then the final thing I want to say is, I love you, Bishop. Thank you so much. You really, honestly, you have been amazing to me and to the team, and you've always been there. Even today, through COVID and off season, I know that I can reach out to you and you'll be right there. So I appreciate you so much. Words will never do it justice, but I love you so much, and thank you, thank you, Deacon, both of you, and Kim, my former teammate. I know we may not have played with each other, but thank you guys.
Thank you for being
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Deacon Kim.
No, I was just thank you for coming on, your energy, and sitting down at that seat. I can only imagine what kind of energy you output on the field. So I think you're an excellent representative for women's football. And I see a career even after you leave the field.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Lois. I loved you from the first day that I saw you there. And you are just a jewel, and I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to bring you on the screen tonight to share for our Women's History Month. And like I said, there's some phenomenal women players in the league on today. And I didn't know you was at Atlanta at first, so I learned something new tonight. So we're glad that we got you. We're glad we got you here in DC. But it's been great hearing about this, and hopefully some young person will be encouraged by your words on today, and even just looking at all of your equipment behind you, and to know that if they come to the DC Divas team, they'll be with a championship team. And there's some great folks, great coaches working with the DC Divas, and all I can say is they get you together. Because one time they wanted me, I gotta say this before we get off, they wanted me to get down and do the push-up. And Deacon Sylvester, I said, huh? What y'all? They said, Bishop, you want to get down here and work out with us? I said, huh? So I said, no, I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna pray from my seat over here. So it was wonderful. But they've invited me into all of the things that they do, and I so appreciate it. And look forward to seeing everybody. And please, everybody, make sure you tune in. If you're not able to come out, make sure you tune in to all the DC Divas games and support them by sending donations in. And specifically saying, hey, I want this to go to equipment, I want this to go to whatever, but send those donations in to the DC Divas team, and you'll help to make history. That's all I can tell you. All right, so thank you.
Just sharing, just spreading the word, not even if it's not a financial donation, you could just, tell a friend and have a friend tell a friend. That goes so far. So, but thank you for that.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Once again, this is Lois Cook from the DC Divas football team. All right, so if you've never heard of them, you've heard of them now, and we want to make sure that we're supporting them. As always, tune back in with us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our next guest that we'll have on next week, and we will see you on Sunday at 11 a.m. right here on Facebook Live, also on YouTube Live, also on Roku, as well as the church's website. Thank you so much. May God bless each and every one of you. And as we always end by saying, this is